in this video, we're going to have a look at the various different clauses and how you view them from the Plan, Do, Check, Act methodology. Hi, my name is Nicholas Graham and welcome to this video on the road to SHEQ certification. So let's start off with Clause 4. Clause 4 is the context of the organization. And within Clause 4, we've got a variety of different tasks that we need to perform. So within the context of the organization, which is the black area, within that context, we need to identify external and internal issues that are relevant to the purpose of the organization or could affect the organization's ability to achieve its intended outcomes, which we'll go through just now. We also need to identify the needs and expectations of workers and interested parties under Clause 4.2. So we need to identify all of those various different issues, and we need to determine whether those issues are going to become requirements within the system. So once we've completed 4.1 and 4.2, that aids us in determining the scope of the SHEQ management system and then determining the helicopter view of the SHEQ management system, which is under 4.4. So as you can see within the blue area over here, that is the scope of our SHEQ management system. So Clause 4 is the context of the organization, internal and external issues, needs and expectations of workers and interested parties. That helps us to then define the scope of our SHEQ management system. So let's also have a look at other input information into our management system is going to be customer requirements. And let's now talk about, so what is the intended outcome of a SHEQ management system? Well, let's have a look at some of the requirements that we would find within the standard. The intended outcomes of this management system, once it's suitably implemented and maintained, would be to provide and maintain a safe and healthy workplace, to prevent injury and ill health, to eliminate hazards, to ensure that the organization is able to achieve its compliance obligations or legal and other requirements, improved SHEQ performance, reduced risk, prevention of pollution and environmental degradation, satisfied customers, and conforming products and services. So we need to take those from being inputs, working them and managing the risks, leveraging the opportunities within our system to achieve the intended outcome. So let's have a look at the role of Clause 5 within the management system. As you can see, that Clause 5 directs and underpins every single clause within the standard. In Clause 5, leadership and worker participation and consultation, we will have a look at the various different clauses during the development of the management system. We'll have a look at the commitment of top management. We'll have a look at the development and the requirements and the commitments to be made in a SHEQ policy. We'll have a look at how roles and responsibilities and authorities and accountabilities are discharged into the various different areas. We'll also have a look at customer requirements. And we'll also have a look at the consultation of workers and the participation of workers, because in order for an effective SHEQ management system to be deployed, it's going to require leadership and it's going to require the participation and consultation of your workforce. So 5 drives every single section or every single clause of the SHEQ management system. Then moving over to Clause 6, which is planning. That's where we start having a look at 6.1. We start having a look at your risks and opportunities, your strategic risk assessment, where either the organization or the management system are the receptors of the risk. So 6.1 is your risk and opportunities assessment. We then have a look at your either hazard identification or risk assessment, your environmental aspects and impacts, your risk-based thinking, your objectives, your leveraging of opportunities, and in some cases your change management can all be driven into Clause 6. So that is part of your planning arrangements within the system. Once we've moved past Clause 6, and 5 helps to drive 6, Clause 5, leadership and worker consultation and participation, also helps to drive Clause 7, which is support, and Clause 8, which is operations. So let's have a look at support. As per the name, support is those clauses that render support to the management system to help the management system and its people to achieve its intended outcomes. So within Clause 7, support, we look at 7.1, we look at resources. 7.2, we look at competency. So what are the competency requirements of the people who are going to affect the SHEQ management system? In 7.3, we'll have a look at awareness. How can we make people, our workers, our employees, visitors, contractors, how can we make them aware of our SHEQ needs and expectations and our requirements? Then in 7.4, we move on to communication and how we're going to communicate within the management system and how we're going to communicate with external parties. And then in 7.5, we move on to documented information, which handles documentation and records. And you can see there from Clause 7 how all of those clauses support the implementation and maintenance of the management system to achieve the intended outcome. Then in Clause 8, we have some very specific requirements, specifically for ISO 9000. We have planning arrangements and understanding customer requirements and design and development and management of external providers. So you could build your contractor management into your operations, your outsourcing as well as your operational control. And ISO 45001 also speaks about how you're going to implement the hierarchy of controls in your operations as well. So Clause 8 is very, very key to the SHEQ management system. And again, it's supported and driven by leadership, worker participation, and consultation. So after we've understood the organization, we know we've done the risk assessment and we've looked at support and we've looked at the operations, the plan phase and into the do phase, in Clause 9, the performance evaluation, that is the checking phase where we then assess the SHEQ management system's ability to manage the risk, to leverage the opportunities, to achieve the intended outcome. So in Clause 9, the performance evaluation, we'll have a look at performance monitoring, measuring, analysis, and evaluation, and how we will identify all those different SHEQ requirements that we want to monitor and measure, be it accident performance. And remember, we also want to look at what we call leading and lagging indicators, or proactive and reactive indicators. So you could have a look at your internal audits or your evaluation of compliance, some of your proactive indicators. You could have a look at your accident stats and your environmental incident stats as reactive measurements of the effectiveness of your performance of your SHEQ management system in helping you to achieve the intended outcome. So Clause 9, we have a look at performance monitoring and measuring, analysis and evaluation. We have a look at compliance evaluation. We have a look at internal auditing, and then also your management review, where all of the analysis of the system feeds into your management review so the top management and the various different participants can understand the organization and see how to direct it. We have a look at Clause 10, which is entitled Improvement. Once we're completed the SHEQ performance evaluation, we move into the improvement or the acting side of the system. In Clause 10, we'll have a look at non-conformity, corrective action. We'll have a look at accident and incident investigation and corrective action. We'll also have a look at continual improvement. So an overarching understanding of that particular clause deals with the reporting, the investigating, the identification of root or contributing factors, the corrective action, and then the review of the effectiveness of corrective action. So that's just an overview of the various different clauses that we're going to be having a look at in detail over the next couple of weeks on the road to SHEQ certification.